Girl, let's talk about it. Did you hear them talking about it? Oh my God, do you know this? What? Oh my God.
Oh my God, Shani Lavenly and Nicole. Shani Lavenly and Nicole on a roll. Lighting up the stream, the vibe is full. Shani Lavenly and Nicole, let's go. Kicking down doors, we make some noise. Grown folks talk with truth and voice. Doing it big, turning up the flow. Shani Lavenly and Nicole, you know. Oh yeah, it's Shani Lavenly and Nicole. Oh yeah, it's Shani Lavenly and Nicole. Everywhere. Shani Lavenly and Nicole, oh yeah. Grown talk vibes, the moment is here.
Thank you for tuning in.
Hey, everybody. Happy Tuesday, I think. Happy Tuesday. I think it's Happy Tuesday. I'm ahead of I think no. Yes, it is. It's Happy Tuesday. See, I'm like way ahead of the game today, y'all. I'm like pressing forward. I'm trying to get it together. Leah Nicole will be joining us shortly. She will be joining us shortly. I hope everybody is feeling happy, wonderful, amazing, great, fantastic, beautiful, loved, especially loved. Y'all know I be having to cut up. Today, we are talking about letters to your younger self. What does that look like? Letters to your younger self. What if you could sit down and like seriously write a letter to yourself? What would you say? Would you warn yourself about heartbreak, the pain you felt in your life, your happy days? Would you write a letter to yourself saying you're sorry? Would you embrace yourself? Would you write about forgiveness? What would you write in a letter to the younger version of you if you was just sitting down really writing a letter? It's like a question you ask yourself. I remember years ago, I went to this convention, and one of the ladies that was speaking at the convention, she had this box, right? And she came out on the stage and she stood up on this box. And when she stood on the box, she said the box was like her protector. Like that was her world in that bubble. And she would talk to her younger version of herself standing on the box, right? And the way that she had to deal with some of her things in life was to stand on the box and literally apologize to herself for all kinds of things that she may have done in her life. So we all have our different ways that we do things, right? And I just thought that was kind of interesting. And I was sitting down when I was brainstorming last night, which I do in the middle of the night, y'all, when I'm out here running on the grass. I was sitting in the room and I was like, what would I say to myself? Hey, Melvin, how you doing, honey bunch? It is not, it is Tuesday. I was going to say, it is not Thursday. I was reading the comment, but it was so little over there in the corner. But what would you say? Hey, Mikey Mike, how you doing, Bobo? What would you say to yourself? What would you all say to a younger version of yourself in a letter? Like if sometimes we do stuff, monkey stuff in our life. I could think of 100,000 gazillion things I can probably write to myself. It'd probably take up, baby, you might not be enough paper in the world to do all the writing that I might have to do. That my younger version might be like, girl, get the hell out of here. Because it's so many things that we want to, really and truly forgive ourselves for and just do something different sometimes. Sometimes we just have to just literally sit down and write a letter and just say, hey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for XYZ. And it doesn't have to always be something bad, right? It could be something, it could be a happy moment you sharing with your younger self. Like, you remember when, we went behind that tree and, you remember when you like doops and boops and, what I'm saying? You know what it might be, but whatever it is, we could still heal from it. And since we're on this journey of trying to heal and be the great people we are, y'all, we have to just, open up our minds to different things and different ventures in life. It's all fun and games when just doing the fun and games thing. But what about when you really have to sit down and let life teach you some things and show you some things. And, as you get older, you're supposed to mature and reach for some things. And sometimes we don't even do that. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we don't do nothing. Sometimes we never apologize to the younger version of ourselves. But what if you could? What if you could sit down, just take a pen out and say, "Dear younger Shelley, at this age, I did this and I didn't mean to do it. And at this age, I didn't mean to say this. And I'm so sorry for all these things that I did to you during this trial and tribulation, or whatever it may look like." You know what I'm saying? Like what would that look like to you? So the topic today. Welcome everybody, Leah Nicole.
Hey everybody, how's everybody doing today? Hope everybody's having a happy Tuesday and everything.
Yeah. Some days this be together. Y'all don't understand. Some days we got to put it together, honey. We got to get it all in one.
Mm-hmm.
But Melvin, Mike, people that are watching, what would you say to yourself? What would you say, Leah Nicole? What would you say to the younger version of yourself if you was writing a letter?
If I was writing a letter to my younger self, I would say, I would tell myself that you're beautiful, and not just because of like how you even look, just because of like who you are as a person. And you don't have to try and change yourself to try and fit in for anyone.
Mm-hmm.
I would give myself some grace and say, you don't have to try to do everything so perfect, because I grew up trying to be a perfectionist. Perfectionist. And I had to always do everything right. Like I couldn't do nothing. It was hard for me to do things wrong. And, I had to get it right. And I couldn't, I was the type of person I wouldn't stop until
that's a hard burden to carry. Just imagine, I know that's, I think for me, it was always trying to please everybody.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of my childhood, I spent just trying to make everybody happy, honey. I wanted everybody to like me. I always wanted to fit in, I always wanted to, and I didn't realize I was always the oddball out.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I realized that in my later years of life, it was just like, I don't have to fit in. I am who I am. You know what I'm saying? And whoever doesn't like me don't have to. Yeah. But I spend a lot of time trying to, make people see things and understand who I was, and, not realizing that it didn't make a difference no matter who I was, honey. It was what it was. You know what I mean? You spend so much of your time thinking that you're the person that's not the person you're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
So if I was apologizing to myself, I would probably say that same thing. Like, hey, you don't have to be so pretty. You don't have to have your hair done every day.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to wear a burgundy wig, wear it. You know what I'm saying? If you want to put on your jelly shoes and run out in the rain, run out in the goddamn rain. You know what I'm saying? But people will make you feel so bad for everything you do.
Right.
Absolutely. Everything you do.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Especially, I had it so hard back in school. I remember I was just like, you hit it right on the head when you said trying to please everybody. Mm-hmm. I was always trying to fit in and trying to please people and I wanted people to was trying to get people to like me and everything. But I realized it took me a long time to realize that people who don't like you, that's not your problem. That's their problem.
Yeah, they just don't like you.
They just don't like you. And
you don't have to do nothing.
You don't have to do nothing.
Right. You don't have to do nothing for people don't like to like you. People just don't like you just because they don't damn like you. You don't have to do nothing at all. You could just be in existence and they be like, I just don't like that person. Yeah. You ever walk into a setting and you don't know nobody and the opinion is formed about you and they don't even know your name. They just know they don't like you because of how you walked in and how you may have looked when you walked in the room, honey.
I can't even tell you about that. That's a story. Several times.
Valon said, hello, Shelly. Your energy is so grand. I appreciate your friendship. And Leah Nicole, you're so welcome. You know, because we try to, he said, I say, here I am. You say, Mike, you're going to say, here you are. Here you are. What you telling you to tell your younger self you arrived? That's what you're trying to say? You just gonna say, I'm here, baby. I'm alive. I done hit the scene running. But sometimes you got to, though. Sometimes you got to give yourself, you know.
Here's this to Valon. You always come in here with the best. Always been so supportive of us and everything. You always here. You show us so much love. So I just want to say I appreciate
he said you two are the best in Georgia. He said you two are the best Georgians. Should be proud of you both. Thank you
so much. We appreciate you so much.
You know, that's the joy of wanting to make people smile, honey. You know, I think that's the gift of mine in life. If I was sitting down writing a younger me, she'd probably be mad from all the shit I put her through. She'd probably be like, girl, you was dragging me all this time around all these corners and I was trying to be great. You know what I'm saying? I think forgiving your younger self, you know, allowing your younger version of yourself to forgive the older version of yourself would be more relevant in my case, because, you know, I done spun the block, baby. I done been around the block. I never, you know, in high school, it was, for me, I was popular in high school. So, and I was always popular with the guys. You know, for some reason, me and the guys got along great, but I did not get along with girls. Half my problem is that now, too, I don't really get along with women, but I get along with guys. I think it's because for me, the guys, they're not as gossipy and there's not a lot going on. It's just, it is what it is. You kicking it. But you also know, when you kicking it with guys, you're labeled, right? Oh, she's a hoe. She's sleeping with them. She doing this. She out running. She doing this. And you ain't got to be doing nothing at all. People are going to say what they're going to say anyway. Before I was 15, I probably had slept with 500 men. You let the world tell it. But, you know, why should I have to defend what people think? I learned that early on. Like, I can't try to, you know, make people think what they're going to think about me. What they're going to think is what they're going to think, you know, and there's nothing I can do about it, just what it is. But at the end of the day, my letter to myself would be like, I'm sorry for putting you through so much stuff. I'm sorry for the tears that I allowed you to cry over the things that I should have been able to change in hurting you. You know, I'm sorry for, some of the, you know, self-inflicted pain that I caused upon you. That would be like my letter of saying, I don't have to, you know, forgive me for this, because now we've moved past it. And now what are we going to do? That's great, fantastic, and wonderful. And I think that's why I put so much effort into being the person that I am, being, you know, doing things the way that I do it, and just staying structured into that. You know, I can come on a video all day and talk to people, right? Because I think that's what my calling really is. I just like talking to people. So I think it's nothing to be pleasing, be nice. And it's not because, it's not even, you know, to do it for a like or a love. It's to do it because I love it. You see what I'm saying? It's a difference between when you're trying to do something that is not in your walk, and then just trying to do something because it's who you really are. So that I think as a kid, I did that early on too. You know, I was always, you know, wanting the love of loving people. I think that's the better way you can probably say it.
Yeah, if I had to say anything, I would also say to myself, I grew up also with when it comes to like going to school, you know, women not liking you, liking me, and having all the guys like me and stuff like that. So it was definitely hard, always trying to like compete with certain women and everything, and certain people to try to like, you know, get people to accept me. So I would definitely have to say now I understand I'm enough. The way I'm enough, and I don't have to, nobody is better than me. I'm not better than anybody else. I don't have to try to compete with people and everything. My only competition is myself.
It should be, you know what I'm saying? Like
that's it. So I think that is one thing that I would try. That was one thing that I would tell my younger self. Like I said, it took me a long time
to get
learn,
there,
to get there, and to learn that, and it took me a long time, but I learned that.
So if you could write one sentence to yourself, what would you say to yourself? Just one sentence, just one thing, not no paragraph, just one line, one liner.
Um, you have a you have a beautiful heart.
Yeah, I think that's also something
You
that,
love hard. You love hard. I love
yeah.
hard. I do. And that's the thing about me. I give so much love to love to people, and it's often not reciprocated and everything. When
Mhm.
I love hard. Anybody can tell you that. I've always been the type of person, if I got it, you got it.
Right.
If I can give and I can help someone, that's what I'm gonna do. And I've often been stabbed in my back by people, but it's okay.
Yeah.
And
Forgiving your younger self,
mhm,
allowing your younger self to forgive you as an adult. You will find many people that do counseling, when you talk to counselors, they always ask, that's the question that a counselor always asks. They always say, if you was talking to your younger self, what would you say? And I always used to say, why the hell were you asking that question? Because I guess if you don't forgive the younger version of yourself, it's like, you see what I'm saying? It's almost like you're trapped because you're not forgiving. You're not allowing your younger version to receive the older you, the
right.
person that you are now. And I think that's the bigger thing why they always ask that question, because I've been to counseling quite a few times, y'all. And I know in all the sessions that I've been in, they've always asked the same question. I'm like, and I used to get angry about that question. Like, why would I want to talk to the younger me? What they got to do with anything? I'm sitting here now at 25 and 30 and 36. And why are we talking about, but that was one of the things. Even when years ago of my life, when I tried to commit suicide, and I say try to commit because either you're gonna commit it or you're not. That's just how suicide works. Either you're gonna die or you're gonna be alive and be real angry. And I woke up angry. So when you realize the two, and you realize you don't want to take yourself out of here so bad, you realize you're not that damn crazy. So when I woke up out of just being traumatized from slicing my hand so many times, I woke up mad, and the doctor asked that question often. He would come in that room and he would say, Miss Lynch, what do you feel? What would the younger you say? And I used to sit there and be like, this monkey man keep asking me this question about something that I ain't got. You know what I'm saying? It would irritate me. It would irritate me a lot because he would constantly come in and he would constantly be saying that same thing over and over and over again until it made sense after a while. It was like, okay, you're asking me because I got to heal somewhere in there. There's something that's a disconnect between me and my younger version of myself. So when I understood that I had to heal the younger person to get to the part of the adult part, it made sense to me. And then I had told myself, well, I guess I won't be trying to slice my arm again. Like, I can laugh about it now, but back in the day it was serious, because at the time when I did it, I probably thought life was the hardest and that things was traumatizing me and I had the worst life in the world and felt like the world was coming down on my head. And then I look at myself now and I'd be like, now, I might look at my younger self now and say, girl, if you would have been gone, what would the world look like without you? That might be the thing. And I might say, what would it look like without you? So you got to think about it. And I can laugh about my pain now and the things that I went through, because when you heal from it, you just heal from it. And it is what it is. People going to remind you all the things the monkey stuff you might have did in your past. Well, hell, honey, if you dig in my past, baby, hell might open. So I just be like, have at it. Have at it.
I too have struggled with thoughts of suicide as well.
Yes,
I too have struggled with thoughts of suicide, but I just realized that I have a lot to. I think about. I think that I have a lot to live for.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot to live for, and I'm not gonna let anybody try to make me feel as though I don't deserve to no longer be here on this earth anymore. I only gotta, only one person can judge us, and that's God.
Yeah, and I
And
think back then when I did
mhm.
it, it wasn't a matter of it was definitely not a matter of feeling like I was taking myself out of here from nobody. I really felt like at 15 years old that I had the world on my shoulder. Like you couldn't tell me I ain't have all the problems in the world. I had left home. I was out here doing the most. I left home being grown, and thought I could bear it all by myself. And, I got myself with a nutso boyfriend who was driving me bonkers. And then I'm living in a house with four people. And it was just a lot of all of that. And then, with the confusion and my mind not being right. And I think I just got to a place where I was just like, I don't want to do this shit no more. And it really had nothing to do with nobody. It was just, I don't want to do this no more, man. I don't want to be here. I don't want to cry. I don't want to feel no pain. I don't want to. And in my mind, that's how it was in my mind, and I just remember getting up out of the bed, going in the bathroom, looking in the mirror one last time, and just that moment of crying and just saying, fuck it. I mean, that's really what I said. And I went to slicing, and the moment that I did it, I wasn't thinking about the mama, the brothers, the sisters, the friends. I was thinking about I'm gonna release some people of some tension. So now nobody ain't got to worry about what I'm out here doing in these ATL streets, honey, because I was in them, and it could be so consuming to the point where you feel like, whoo, I can't breathe. But it's a healing thing. Once again, it's a thing you heal from. You heal from it because you tell yourself, I don't have to do that no more. I don't have to break down. I don't have to fall apart. Because, like I said, the world will beat you up. And if you allow it, it just keeps beating you upside your head over and over and over again. You cannot allow things to just consume you to the point where you feel like you no longer belong in the world that you're in. And I think I had allowed life to consume me. It had nothing to do with a person, place, or thing. It had to do with life as a whole. I felt like it was on top of my head at a very, very young age, and it wasn't because I wasn't pretty. It wasn't because I wasn't popular. It had nothing to do with none of those things. It had to do with self things. So as I got older and created me, I call it the me. I created me. I say, hey, I'm going to be her. I want to be this girl. I want to be in the, and started building a brand and building myself and having that one-on-one saying, you're good. You can do this. You're better than that. You're bigger than this. And once I started doing it, I think it just became a normal for me to just be like, I don't really care no more what people like or see or don't see, or because if I sat and listened to all the noise, I'd probably jump off a building like for real, for real. It would be like, whoop, here I go again. So once you go dark, you keep yourself from going dark again. You just don't allow yourself to go dark. Valon said, great subject on this podcast, ladies. I would love to give you both a hug. Honey, here you go.
Like I said, I love you, Valon.
Valon is always here riding the wave with us, y'all. He always is. Leah, looking back, what fears or insecurities would you tell your younger self? You got to pull up because you're short. There you go.
I'm sorry, what?
What fears or insecurities would you tell your younger self to let go of?
Fears or insecurities. Like I said, I used to have this thing where I felt like, okay, I was not good enough. I was, no matter what I did, like I said, when I walked in or to a room, is no matter what I did, if I was quiet, if I tried to talk or tried to speak, it always just felt like nothing I would say was ever good enough. So I really struggled with that, like growing up, like nothing I did was never good enough for anybody, no matter how hard I try, no matter what I do and everything, no matter how much I try to please or try to, nothing I did was ever good enough for anyone. So I think that that's when fear and insecurity I would let go of, is feeling like that nothing I do is ever good enough.
So how do you think your younger you would respond to you now with those things? Do you think that you've you've overcame them, like you don't think about that anymore, you don't think about the insecurities, the fears, what people think, what they don't think, or do you still have those moments where you're like, oh, let me just sit back, oh, let me just not, let me not stand out because someone might say something, let me be quiet so I can be overlooked, or do you still toggle, or do you just have you just gotten over it?
I would say that I've overcome a lot of that growing up. The I've overcome not feeling like I'm good enough, not feeling like I have to please people, and I just have to do something in order for somebody to like me. I've overcome a lot of that,
Mm-hmm.
and I've dealt with that, and especially now this year.
Yeah. Can you just imagine though, like when I think about it and I think about when I was younger, I remember when I was younger, I had red hair. Believe it or not, I was a redhead. I was really, really skinny, kind of awkward looking. I wore really, really big glasses. If you ever hear people talk about me that knew me from back in the day, they was like, "You remember those glasses, girl?" And I used to wear really big glasses, and I didn't think I was pretty. I just thought it was odd. I thought I was awkward looking because I didn't think I was ever going to have a body. I didn't ever think it was going to come in. And I used to always think I was odd looking, like because I was so skinny, like I was skinny, and then I had no breast. And then back then, the girls, the girls in school with me, they was developed and they had, they was cute with it. And we had a lot of kids, so we wasn't up here running around in name brand. We was wearing what the child before you had on, that's how it went. And I learned how to create things in my head, like I would take a piece of cloth and cut it and glue it to a shoe to make it match a skirt, or make a bow and put it in my head, and learning how to just create things to be a brand. But I always knew that I could sing. I had to tap into talents that I had. Like I was like, okay, I can sing and I can win over, I can win someone over because I know how to sing, and I'm a force to be reckoned with doing this, and I can be her, you know what I'm saying? So that was kind of like my power. That was the way that I had the power of being younger. Like it was like, okay, I know I could do this. And then when I finally grew up into myself, and I was still kind of odd looking, but then I started, looking at myself and saying it's not that bad. And there was this one lady that used to live across the hall from us. Her name was Darlene. And she looked at me one day and she said, "Girl, one of these days you're going to be so pretty and you're going to blossom and you're going to bloom and everybody's going to know you." And I just remember her saying that to me when I was young. And I'm looking at this lady like, "You is crazy. Do you see what I look like?" I'm looking at her because I felt odd. I was uncomfortably awkward looking. Because of how skinny I was and how my glasses was so big. And, I didn't know nothing about combing no hair. You had all this hair, it's red and it's fuzzy. If I put up a picture, y'all probably laugh, because it always a funny looking little thing. And I can say that, I can say it now, but then you change in life, and I started tapping into the things that I knew I was great at. And that's kind of how I think apologizing to my younger self probably came into effect, like saying it's okay to be it's okay for you not to be so cute, it's okay for you to have a mole on your nose, it's okay for your hair to be red. What we're going to do with it, so I learned how to heal from within, and let go of the things that I wasn't pretty on the outside. I guess that's the thing. maybe maybe that's what I'm trying to say. Maybe not pretty on the outside. I don't know. So it's even like now I struggle when people be like, "You're so pretty," and I'm like, "Oh, thank you." It's like an odd, uncomfortable for like a second. It's like, "Oh, thank you. That's so nice of you." But it's learning how to accept when someone says, "You really are nice looking," or, "Oh no, you really are pretty," or and you don't. You might not feel that way all the time. You might not feel it at all. You might think like, "Yeah, you're just saying that." But then you learn how to accept it. Hey, Juan, you just learn how to accept certain things about yourself as you grow. And then you forgive yourself for the things that you cannot change about yourself. And you just press past it. Valon said, "But look at you now, Shelly. A cut above the rest. You're unstoppable." I'm trying, baby. I'm trying.
And I would also like to say, like, also, to my voice is important. There are often people in my life that try to quiet me down a lot. I've learned that my voice is important. What I have to say matters. And, growing up, I was always the scared and shy person. Even still I struggle with that. But I've learned now how to use my voice. I'm overcoming this. I've learned how to be better with talking, telling people how I feel. If there's something that I don't like, I speak up now.
Mhm.
Excuse me. I've learned that, that's something I would tell my younger self. Like, you speak up for yourself. A lot of people, even still now, I let, with you always often being so nice, people take advantage of people who are nice and who have good hearts. So learning how to have a voice, learning how to stand up for yourself, learning not to let people quiet you.
Mhm.
I had to really learn that, and as a child, as an adult, and that's
Yeah.
something that I can say that I'm proud of today. That I have a voice, and
And you should. I think it's wrong for people to, because you have bullies. You have people that are just bullies, and they bully you. They bully you around. As long as you dance into the rhythm, you're okay. But the second you're dancing to your own, you're no longer valid. So you have even in school, you have people that bully you in school. They bully you around. They want to be on top of everything, so they're dominant over you. And then when you realize that, hey, I want to be heard too. I want to talk about some things my damn self. I got something I want to say, and then you're dumbed down. I always call it dumbing down. Like even in the work that I do, I say this all the time. I'm a force to be reckoned with at my job. You can't tell me about my job that I know. You see what I'm saying? So when I walk into a room at my job, I know my work. I know my worth. So I'm not going to play the dummy to make you feel bigger than me. I'm not going to do it. So, and I think they've learned that about me and at my job now. They probably like, this girl right here don't never stop. But you just learn how to say no. I'm not gonna be quiet because you're telling me to. I'm gonna talk because I can. And God gave me a voice just like He gave you one. And I'm gonna say what I gotta say. We may agree to disagree, but what I won't be is quiet. Maybe sometimes, in the abusive relationships that I was with, maybe that's why I got hit in the mouth a lot, because my mouth was always on fire. I had to say something. It's like, you might gonna choke me out tomorrow, but baby, I'm gonna be talking going down. That's one of them things you can laugh at now. Back then, it might not have been so funny, but it was always because people have been always all of my life trying to silence me. It's like, don't speak unless you're spoken to, and don't say nothing. Be quiet. But then why why not why not talk about it? Why not say it? You know what I'm saying? Like, people probably say, shit, you crazy as hell to come on here and tell people you slit your arm 7 times. Yeah, I did. Been there, done that. Now, I probably took a couple perks here and there too, some Xanax on the way, slid in the first place. But your truth is your testimony. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm here. That's the bigger picture. I'm still here. The younger me may have been broken. She's not broken anymore. The younger me is sitting there going, girl, go ahead. She got a baton. She twirling. She got some pom-poms. She's screaming. Because why? Why should I feel bad about things I've done? Things I've done has made me who I am. If I never had a story to tell you, you would never know one. That's period, point blank. It would make no sense. So, no, you can't allow people to, anybody at any point in your life, younger, older, mid-age, especially when you get in your 50s. I mean, good God of Jesus, you'll be running around here pulling out your eyeballs. Juan said, bruh, you forgot to say something good about Nicole. She's beautiful in the top 3 category. LeValon, he talking to you. He talking to you. He said, you forgot to say Leah Nicole was beautiful. She in the top 3, baby.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
He said, yes, Leah Nicole, sometimes we have to encourage yourself. I'll do it. I do all the time. Yes,
Absolutely.
you have to.
Absolutely, you have to. It's very important. And I know that now. And I still need to, I still find myself needing to, like, sometimes remind myself like, girl, you need to speak up for yourself when it comes to certain situations and everything. 'Cause people walking all over you, and will not, people gonna always look out for them, but you need to look out for you too. So I had to find my voice, and I had to stop letting people silence me.
So what do you feel like you say now that you wasn't saying then?
I just feel like that I feel like that, like I said, before, I'm always a type, when you're not a confrontational person, I'm not a confrontational person. I don't like getting into confrontations. I don't like getting into arguments with people, although I have, but I don't like it. So anytime somebody would say something, I'm always type, like, let me just be a bigger person. Let me brush it off. Let me just, let them have it and everything. So I think that's what I learned that's what I'm saying. I learned to find my voice, and then even speaking up in certain situations, standing up for myself when something is not when I don't agree with something, standing up for myself. Hey, speaking up, because like I said, people they're going to do what's right for them, but you got to do what's right for you in certain situations. So I think that, like I said, now I'm learning, okay, it's okay. I understand, it's okay for, you don't have to always, yes, it's okay. You need to pick and choose. You pick and choose your battles. Everything is not an argument, but I'm going to stand up for myself when I feel something is not right, something's not out of place. When, like I said, that's what I've learned throughout the years. Because like I said, people have always tried to silence me and always try to take my voice away, always try to make me feel like that my opinion doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And that's not the case. No one's opinion, I've learned that there's no such thing as a stupid question.
Right.
So a question is a question. So.
And that's true. No question is a stupid question. Everything has an answer. And if you have something that you need to say, you should be given the opportunity to say it. You shouldn't have to not say something because someone may be offended by what you're saying. Especially if and it's not about sometimes it's not even about being wrong or right. It's just about, hey, I just want my voice to be heard too. I listened to your spiel. Now listen to my spiel. And then, like I said, you can agree to disagree. It's just like in every argument, it's going to be, it's going to be something or the other. When you're in situations, when you're out of situation, even when you're arguing with your kids, it's going to be a agree to disagree kind of situation. It's always going to be something. But just like they want to be heard, you want to be heard. Why should somebody dim somebody's light because they don't like their opinion or what they said? I think that's a growing curb.
Yeah.
He said you both are beautiful females and ambitious and purpose.
Like I said, thank you so much, Milan. I appreciate everything, your encouraging words. You always come on here. You always uplift the positivity. So I thank you and I appreciate you.
Yeah, you can like you say, we say this all the time. We're no greater than you all are. However, we keep it pushing. It takes a lot in a day to come on here every day consistently at 5:00. Y'all don't even understand how it is to put all this together all the time. Like it's a lot because you're really getting off work, sliding into another chair,
Right.
trying to make sure you give people good content, study what you're talking about. Have a conversation. I was doing this in my car driving on 285. So I figured if I could do it on 285, I could definitely do it here.
I would say that it's all worth it though. It's all worth it in the end when you're trying to help people make a difference in their lives, trying to, you may not know you out there preaching to somebody that's going through the same thing you going through and everything. So it's definitely all worth it. And like I said, I always want to show my appreciation towards each and every one that comes in every day. We have our day ones that's here with us that are on here that jump right on with us at 5 and support us always in the comments, liking and supporting us. And I I'm not going to ever stop thanking y'all and showing my appreciation. Me getting on this platform has taught me a lot about speaking. That, like I said, this is even therapy for me.
Yeah, you'd
So
be surprised.
it's taught me how to have a voice and everything. So I just appreciate each and every one here, and I thank you so much.
So let me ask the people, the viewers watching, what about y'all? Is there anything that Valon, Juan, Mike, Cedric, anything that you all would ask yourselves and say to the younger yourself? What would you say to the younger you? What would you say to yourself if you was writing? Because men have things that they toggle with too. Ladies, we can focus on a lot of stuff, but men have things that they toggle with and that they go through, and they go through things as well. Hey Jason, they go through things as well. Men go through things too that they don't talk about. What would you say? What would you apologize saying to yourself? What would you say to yourself? Would you say I'm sorry for what? Because a lot of times we focus on women, we focus on us, we focus on things that we go through, but we'd like to make the platform fair. What are some of the things that you would look at yourself and say, if I could write a letter to myself, this is what I would say to myself? you know Iron sharpens irons, lady.
And just let us know in the comments how you feeling about that and everything. Anything you can say to your younger self, whether it be you're enough,
Yeah.
you wish that you didn't have to fit in with it. You didn't want to. You tried so hard. You tried so hard to fit in with everybody. What's one thing you would just? What's your truth? Just speak your truth.
Just at the end of the day, that's all you
Yeah.
can do.
Yeah.
How would your younger self react to? How would your younger self react if they knew you in your life now? If your younger self was looking at you now, what would they say?
My younger self is looking at me now. Um, I think that they would be proud of who I am now. They would say, "What?"
No, you said you. I was gonna.
I would think that they would be proud. Say you've grown and you've come a long way. Um, you overcame and you've always been a fighter, and have gotten yourself out of situations that you never thought that you would get through. So I think that that's one thing that you said my younger self would tell myself now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Jason said, don't let everyone into your heart. Take your time. Yeah, I would agree with that one, Jason. I would definitely agree with that one.
Agree with that as well. Everybody does not deserve
your
not
heart.
deserve your heart.
Not a space
not
in it
your
at all.
kindness, not everybody doesn't deserve that. Sometimes we have to learn the hard way, but
yeah, I think if my younger self was looking at me now, she would probably say, you've blossomed, you grew. The whole thing in your life is to grow to something different. I can remember a time when I thought I was horrible, just a horrible person altogether. It was like, just feeling heavy all the time, and the person that I felt like I was becoming. But I'm also a person that knows how to look at myself and reflect to myself. Like, I can stop and look at myself and say, I don't like this person you are right now. This person ain't great. This person is not the nicest. This person is, and I could start chopping that down and going into a shell and just trying to create something better. Like, you got to change this about yourself, because this ain't no good look on you. And this ain't pretty. And there's nothing about this cute. It's called like self-reflection. Like, I look at myself and I start there and I go, I could be better at this. But what I do understand, what I have learned, is when you are in a healing process in your life and you're going through a transformation in your life, the world will come and attack you from every end of the world that your body and brain can think of, because now you're advancing and you're moving and you're shedding. It's almost like shedding your skin of what I once was. I'm no longer, and I'm now walking differently, and my look might look a little different, and my balance might be a little different, and now I might not line up the same way I used to. So I think my younger version will be like, you go, girl, you've done that, you did it. You know what I'm saying? Because there's all these things that you life is about elevation. Life's about growing. Life's about changing. If I'm stuck at what I used to do, then I'm stuck. So I got to keep always thinking of the next thing to do. In my mind, I'm in the bed thinking. My brain probably don't never stop. Sometimes I wish I can just cut it off. My younger version might say, "Hey, take a break. It's okay." But in my head, it's like, you're 53, you ain't got that kind of time. You on this timeline. You need to get this done now. And in the process, all the other stuff will come later. But right now, you got to, this is what you got to do. This is what you got to do. This is what you got to do. And I think those are the things that I would probably, my younger version, she would probably say, "I'm proud of you, girl. You did that. You did a good job." So yeah. Balan said, with me, he finally have confidence and love me myself to the fullest. I'm thinking that was supposed to be B. You say you would love yourself to the fullest. You think at some point in your life you didn't love yourself to the fullest? I think we all talk with that one too. That loving yourself more. I think that's what it is. And not causing self-inflicted pain, not like saying cutting your arm, but just causing pain to your own life, unnecessary pain that you could just say, I could have lived without that one. When you think about that now, do you think about like things you did that you say, I could have not did that and saved myself that pain right there?
I mean, of course, I don't know about everybody else, but definitely, when I think about that now, I wish there was a lot of things that I could have done to save myself and everything, but life happens.
Life
and life happens. We're here to, you here to, I've learned, we've all learned, we learn lessons and everything. We grow and we become better people. So
yeah, I think that's what it boils down to. Elevation, changing, fasting, praying, looking for new beginnings, new doors, new chapters, kicking down doors at this point in your life and just saying, hey, the world may not like me. And let me tell you something. Once you learn that you can't please the whole world, and you learn that you came in this world by yourself, and when you go out, you pretty much gonna go out alone, you'll figure out really quick that I gotta sometimes love me more and gamble on me more. I hear people saying that all the time. I bet on myself because I can't hurt myself. I can't fall apart on my own. If I gamble on me and I fail, I can just pick myself up and move on. But when I have a team of people and I'm gambling on myself, and then they're poking me like this and saying, "Girl, you done failed. You done failed," and it's constant reminder of the pain and that I endured in the fall. There's something wrong with that. But when I can get up and say, I did that. Let me shake it off. I'm gonna get past it. I'm gonna get through it. I cried about it. Okay, it's over now, and let me keep it pushing. That sting don't hurt that bad no more. That's a piece that I've came to recognize in my life now that I think is priceless. I just exist. I just be like, you know what? When I get up in the morning, I just be like, if my lupus ain't kicking in and hurting, honey, can't nothing else hurt me. Because I pray, and I pray so powerful. And I just be like, God, whatever I'm going to go through, you're going to put me through it. Whatever I'm going to have to, whatever battles, whatever mountain I'm going to climb, you already put it there. So let me just figure out how to get up the mountain and get down the other side. And whatever the assignment is, I'm so obedient to the assignment. And I just think living that way has freed so much of my life. I think it spared me, actually.
Yeah, I wake up in the morning and always, anytime I'm grateful every morning that I just get to open my eyes, everything, because you always have to remember there's somebody who didn't get to open their eyes this morning. Anytime tomorrow's not promised to you. Every time we have new days, let go of what happened yesterday, move on from that, focus on today and everything. That's been my motto, my motto so far this year, and it's gotten me through and everything. I cried yesterday, but I got God on my side, to my left and my right, and I'm gonna be okay.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you think about it, you ain't got no choice. Yes. If you sit and the economy and the world we live in now and the way it's lined up, if you allow this life to chew you up, swallow you, and spit you out, You failed. You failed yourself as a person. You cannot allow this life to take you out because this is hard. Every day waking up, moving forward is hard because things are happening that you don't even see. You got the government shutting down over here. You got people without work. You got people that probably sit in their house right now, ain't got no lights, no gas, no water. You got things that are really happening. You got people that are struggling and going through something. And how dare you be be so unkind to be the bully in the bunch because you want to pick on what somebody don't have and somebody's downfall in life because it made you feel like you were superior to. Like, you think about these things and you go, wow, like what kind of humans are we really surrounding ourselves with? What kind of people do we have in the world that can be so unkind to where your flaws are always the things that people attack? So when you looking at your younger version of yourself, you got to tell them, I'm healed. I've put on a layer of protection. There's an army around me that surrounds me. And these angels that surround me every day, they're real. And they moving and marching in my favor. Because why? Because when I prayed to God last night, he said, you are covered and I have my hand on you. And this is where we're going to go. And this is what we're going to do. The only thing I need you to do is keep your head up and keep on pushing. And let me deal with the rest. And when you accept that in your heart and you really accept it, you will learn very quickly that the tears I cried today, I won't cry them tomorrow because tomorrow is going to have problems of their own. And why worry about it? Why should I fast forward to them? They're going to be there anyway. And the quicker you learn that, the better off you might be in life. It just what it is. Empowerment and encouragement. Looking back, what lessons do you wish your younger self could have embraced sooner?
It's like I said, it's like what I keep saying, embrace a little bit more sooner, having a voice, speaking up for myself. I probably would have used better judgment in a lot of situations that I went through as well. I probably would have, and like I said, also telling myself that I'm enough and I don't have to try to fit in with the crowd and everything. Try to always be a people pleaser, try to always get people to like me and everything. That you're I don't know why we always, society, society, we always have to fit in with society. We always have to try to please everybody, please, always have to, just follow the crowd while we can't set our own trends and everything. I don't know why we have to do that, but hey.
Because what they call you in school when you don't follow the crowd, you're lame, you're goofy, you're nerdy, right. You don't, it's crazy enough. When I was in high school, I wore dresses all the time. I hated pants. I didn't like tennis shoes and I didn't like pants. So people always thought that was weird. They would always be like, this girl, she don't never wear no pants. She always in dresses. But I never liked pants. I hated them. You would never catch me in a pair of pants and a pair of tennis shoes. Now, when I got about 42, I think it was, one of my friends, he was like, girl, you don't own no tennis shoes. Like I did not. And I didn't dress out for gym in school either. That was another thing I didn't want to do. I didn't want to dress out because I didn't want my hair to sweat. So I was probably one of the people that failed gym because I didn't ever want to sweat. So I would go to school with my little dress shoes on and whatever have you. But when I was 42 was when I got my first pair of Nikes, believe it or not. And my friend was like, I cannot believe you don't own no, because he was like, we was going somewhere. He was like, do casual day or whatever. He was like, dress casual. And I was like, casual. And I was always in heels. To me, casual was heels, a nice cute dress on, that was my little 1-2. He was like, you don't own no tennis shoes? I was like, no. He said, girl, we going to the mall. So we went to the mall and we bought some tennis shoes. And I still have the tennis shoes to this day, believe it or not, just because it was my first pair. They're oldest Matilda, but I love them because they was my first pair. And then my son was like, Mom, my son started working at a shoe store and he was like, Mom, you finna have every tennis shoe that I can probably buy you. And he went on to buy me thousands of tennis shoes, you know. So now I'm looking for tennis shoes. I'm like, okay, I gotta rock this, I gotta rock that, this gotta have this, you know. But I just think about how labeled I was as weird because I didn't want to wear pants. I didn't like jeans. I didn't like, you know, I didn't like nothing that had to do with pants. I like to wear dresses. That's what I like. And people used to be, and I went to an all white school, and people used to be like, girl, you'll never wear no pants. What's wrong with you? Something wrong with you? Is you a Christian or some kind? Or you can't wear no, you know, but that's what I'm saying. People will always put you in a bubble. So I've learned it don't matter. Like, you know, y'all see me out here, my hair changes on this podcast probably 24 times in a month. And somebody will say something about it at some point. Girl, her hair changed too much. She don't never look the same. Her contacts is too green. She can't see. Hi. You know what I'm saying? But if I allowed myself to be broken apart like I used to when I was a kid and allow people to just keep taking parts of me, I would be broken now because I would sit down and be trying to fix myself constantly to fit in people's bubbles. And I'm like, why? You don't have to like my hair green. If I want to wear green, that's the color I want to wear today. When I woke up today, I said, I want to be Betty Boo, you know, and I went to doing my little one too. And I didn't give a shit who didn't like it. I was just like, you know, it's what I want to do today. And you'll be surprised. Somebody be sitting somewhere and go, I don't like that hairstyle on her. I don't, you know, I'm just not cute. But who gives a shit? At the end of the day, like who really cares about all the things that broke me down as a kid, all the things that made me uncomfortable, all the things that I made make me uncomfortable growing up as a kid, and the things that I've learned how to say, I don't care no more. You know, I don't care what somebody says, somebody thinks, what somebody does. These little kids, honey. These little kids on my son's computer be disrespectful. They just keep calling. I just have to keep clicking it because I'm on his thing, honey.
So I think the moral of the story is let people be Go ahead, I think moral of the story. I don't say we are so sorry for the
We're so sorry.
I'm so sorry for that. I'm so sorry for that. But the moral,
and then click back down. Sorry. Yeah, this is rings. I'm sorry, y'all.
So the moral of the story is just let people be who they are. Let you know it's okay if we're not all the same in life. You know, everybody's different. Everybody's allowed to be themselves and everything. If we were all the same, if we all thought the same and we're the same, the world would be boring. So
yeah.
So yeah, that's the moral of the story. Just let people be who they are.
Yeah, we've had the most interruptions on the show ever. Like today's show has been hilarious. Y'all do not know. Like today, like I use my son's laptop because the Wi-Fi streams good, and his phone is hooked up to this laptop. So every time somebody calls him, y'all will hear it on the screen, and y'all we're trying to keep our cool on this end, y'all, and we're like, okay, technical difficulties are happening in the moment. And like we're clicking, and I'm going, it's we try to, you try to keep it cute and cordial out here, y'all. We try to keep it cute and simple. But y'all don't understand what we be going through on this back end, honey. I be like,
appreciate all your understanding and everything, and you bearing with us through the through it, everything. And like you said, I am so sorry, and I apologize for that.
Yeah, we apologize for that. I don't know if y'all can hear it in the stream. I've never listened back to see if y'all can actually hear the phone ringing in the computer.
They can hear the phone ringing. I've heard people say that they can. I've gotten some comments and say they can hear the phone ringing.
Yo, we truly apologize. Can you imagine if we was on TV and we sitting here pressing the button? It'd be hilarious. But y'all, like we always say, thank y'all for rocking with us. Thank y'all for being here. We got some good people coming on the show these weeks to come. And just, trying to do it big, trying to be great. Y'all, please make sure you go and subscribe to the YouTube channel at Shelly Live. You'll see Unfiltered at 5. We post up on clips at the end of the night. Like we post up little snippets, little 60 seconds out of each segment that we do. We are no greater or bigger than you all make us. That is the thing. So when we say share, like, we really, really be meaning share, like.
Yes. And also follow us on all social media platforms. Yes, definitely. Also follow me on YouTube and everything at Aaliyah Nicole. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram at Leah Love Nicole now. And then TikTok, Leah Love Nicole as well. And so, yes, make sure you comment, like, and subscribe and everything. And once again, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all so much. And just always remember, you are enough. You're beautiful. Your affirmations every day.
Villan said, like myself, I was in my 20s. Mm-hmm. My mom would tell me, would tell you, need to wear shoes sometimes, not sneakers. I thank her for this advice. I've gotten more compliments from women, white and black. Yeah, I didn't like tennis shoes. It wasn't my thing. I wear them now, but I hated them back then. But yeah, so she told you her platform, and it's Leah with it's Liyah. Mm-hmm. So y'all know how to spell it when you're looking for her. Liyah.
Leah Love Nicole on Instagram and TikTok. And like I said, thank you all so much for the unconditional love and kind comments and everything. We appreciate each and every one of you for everything that you provide us each and every day. So thank you so much. This is Unfiltered at 5 with Leah Nicole and Shirley Live.
We are out of here. Y'all be great, be fantastic, and be the beautiful people you are. We almost to Wednesday, y'all. Now we checking out of here.
Girls, let's talk about it. Did you hear them talking about it? Oh my God, did you know this? Oh my God.
Oh my God, Shirley Live and Leah Nicole. Shirley Live and Leah Nicole on a roll. Lighting up the stream, the vibe is bold. Shirley Live and Leah Nicole, let's go. Kicking down doors, we make some noise. Grown folks talk with truth and voice. Doing it big, turning up the flow. Shirley Live and Leah Nicole, you know. Oh yeah, it's Shirley Live and Leah Nicole. Oh yeah, it's Shirley Live and Leah Nicole. Everywhere, it's Shirley Live and Leah Nicole. Oh yeah, grown talk vibes, the moment is here.
Thank you for tuning in.